All right, everybody. Good morning. It is the day, the big day, conference championship Sunday. We are here. We are just a few hours away from Broncos Patriots. And then after that, we got the big one. We got the big show. Seahawks hosting the Rams for the NFC title and the right to represent the conference in the Super Bowl. I'm excited. If you're watching this video, you're almost certainly excited. Let's get to game day. Let's see what the team has for us. Get pumped, get excited. Shout out to anybody who's actually able to go to this game. I know there are a few out there who watch my videos who are going to be at this game. Go have fun. Let's talk about a couple of notes before we get to game day here. I want to talk about the practice squad elevations real quick. Nothing earth-shattering, of course, but always worth going over. And then later today, we'll probably get an inactive list. I may make another video when we get that. So stay tuned for that. But one thing at a time, let's start with these practice squad elevations. All right, guys, before we go any further into this video, let's take a minute so I can tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using Sleeper this year for daily fantasy, then you are missing out. Download the app and get ready to have more fun with sports this year. Make all kinds of picks on over-unders. Get on over there. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever your sports fancy is. I've got some picks going for this week, the conference championship games. I got the over on Cooper Kupp. 30.5 receiving yards. I got Ken Walker scoring an anytime touchdown. I got Mevis over on the Rams kicking at least 2 field goals. And I got Drake May with the under on 227 passing yards. So get on over to Sleeper. Use promo code SBN, that is SBN, to get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100 and go have more fun with sports this year. Okay, so let's start with the Seahawks side of things. You've got two elevations on that side. You've got Cam Akers and you've got Velez Jones Jr. And the thing that's interesting about those elevations is that they are both running backs. We have two running backs getting elevated, and I don't think it's hard to understand why they might want to elevate two running backs for this game. Zach Charbonnet got hurt last week. George Holani, who has not played football in about 2 months, or at least not football in an actual NFL game, is our backup running back. And let's just be real about it. Let's just be honest about the situation here. Ken Walker, while he has been playing great lately, is a guy who is not necessarily your full-on bell cow. You do want somebody else to sop up some of the carries so that Walker doesn't end up touching the ball 30 times in one game. I don't think he's really built for that, and I don't think you really want to be using any running back like that unless he's an all-time great, and Walker is not that. So Cam Akers, Velez Jones was active last week when we played the 49ers, got some carries at the end of that game because it was such a blowout. I think it was like 6 carries for 10 yards. He also adds a little bit of flexibility as like a gadget receiver and a return man. So if we have an emergency at receiver or with Shaheed, then Velez Jones becomes available to do stuff like that. That would be nice. If it comes to that, at least we have that in our back pocket, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. And of course, Cam Akers, veteran running back in this league. He did a lot of stuff with the Rams a few years ago. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Like 2,000 career rushing yards for him. So he's actually a reasonably productive player. Hopefully neither guy really has much to do today. Hopefully that Walker and Holani are playing so good. We don't need either of these guys, but it makes sense why you would want to have multiple options to kind of back things up. I think that both of these players are pretty darn limited. Akers doesn't really have a lot of moves. Akers isn't really a very shifty player. And Velez is undersized as far as running backs go. I think he's like 200 pounds flat. He's kind of a gadget player more than anything. So you don't want to restrict yourself to one particular player in the event of something bad happening to Holani or even Walker. So common sense. You've also got Robbie Oots, by the way. So you've kind of got 5 running backs in this game. I know Oots is a fullback, but it makes sense why you would want to do that for this game. And here's the thing about this that is really, really great. If you're a Seahawks fan, they didn't elevate a tackle, which means not only is cross playing, which we already know from 2 days ago, but this is an indicator they think Josh Jones is going to be good because Amari Kite is doubtful. if they had any concern about Jones missing this game, they'd probably call up Logan Brown from the practice squad unless they're really going to go ahead and trust Mason Richmond, because remember, Cable Dew went on injured reserve. So Richmond's really the only other tackle on the team at that point, and I don't think that the team would be okay with that if they thought Jones was going to miss this game. So the indication here is that Josh Jones is going to be good. So we've got that security blanket in our back pocket. Hopefully I'm right about that. If I'm not right about that, then that means that Richmond is basically your backup left tackle and your backup right tackle at the same time, and I don't need to be dealing with that. I don't even know who the other backup tackle would be at that point because, again, like I said, Logan Brown's on the practice squad and Cable Dew's on injured reserve. So at that point, you're basically just saying, hey, Oluwatimi, can you play tackle for a couple snaps? Pretty bad. All right, so those are your elevations for the Seahawks. 2 running backs, Akers, Jones. Let's take a look at the Rams. Nate Atkins tweeted this out yesterday afternoon. We have Laryl Murchison. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but I think it's Murchison, a defensive end, although he's a very oversized defensive end. He's almost 300 pounds. And then inside linebacker Elias Neal is their other elevation. Now, Murchison's the interesting one here. That's a guy who's actually played a decent amount for this Rams defense this year. He played in the first 16 games the Rams played this year, but then he kind of got sent down and wasn't active for the last game or the last 2 playoff games. But now they got him back in the rotation, and he's done a couple of things. He's somewhat of a noteworthy player. I think he was originally like an interior defensive lineman, and he's bumped to the outside mostly this year. So Murchison, what this might indicate and what this might be for is Byron Young, because Byron Young barely practiced this week. They think he's going to play, but the question is he going to be able to play well? Is he going to be able to finish the game? They want to give themselves another option in the event that Byron Young is not able to go at full. And supposedly, even guys like Jared Versk and Braden Fisk are not 100%. So they need some reinforcements on that defensive line. So Murchison's elevation makes sense. And Elias Neal, the inside linebacker, only a special teamer, only does special team stuff when he does play, which is barely ever. Not really too much to say there. Just a typical practice squad elevation. All right, so that's all we got. I know it's not a lot, but that's what the teams have given us. We'll have an inactive list later from both teams, probably around like 2. I'll make another video sometime around maybe 2:30 for that, but that's the latest and greatest. So let me know what you guys think down below. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a good rest of your day, and let's hope it ends the way we want it to.